Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivare Hari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivare Hari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana
Jamuna Tira Vanachari
Jamuna Tira Vanachari
Srimad Bhagavatam ki
Jai.
Bonitai ki
Jai.
Shri Radha Radhakanta ki
Jai.
So what I want to know is, Radharani, is she carrying like a bag of flowers there? Yeah, I know. Because it looks like there's flowers coming out, and there's a little bundle underneath.
That's a purse.
A purse, yeah, but that in the purse, see, there's flowers coming out.
Okay.
You see? Doesn't it look like she's been out picking flowers?
Oh yeah.
That's
You
what
know
all
that's
the.
actually a sash.
That's what all the
That's a sash.
the which gopis wear when they're out picking flowers. Is that what Radharani has in that little?
She had flowers in her little.
That bag there, like you see.
Her pouch.
It's a little. It's filled with flowers.
Flowers and things that she cooked for Krishna.
Oh, all kinds of secrets. Ah.
Yeah.
So what's in the bag? The pouch. So, okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudiraye.
Before reciting Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of concourse, we should first offer our respectful obeisances to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Narayan, to Narayan Rishi, the supremest human being, Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, Srila Vyasadeva, the author, and to Srila Prabhupada, our spiritual master and founder Acharya. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pachanine Nivasesha Sumnivadi Paskatadi. So you never guess what happened first thing this morning. So they had written 17 for the verse.
Oh, okay.
But Angie said she did so much this morning. It's amazing. She taught her. Maharani's teaching her how to do Bhakti for Prabhupada, and then Prishni led this really enthusiastic kirtan, and our Mridanga player, Prishni, and then Katya is like a star on the Mridanga already.
She's good.
So it's really great. It's fantastic. Everything was working on all.
Prabhuji, before you start, I have to kind of ask a couple of things and I have to
Sure.
leave. So, Mother Jayapati, hope you can help me with this. Is these flowers azaleas poisonous if you eat?
Yes.
Yeah. So somebody's been putting it in the Charnamrita. I picked it out. So accidentally somebody will take that and they might go into something, I don't know. Keep an eye on this because we can have those azaleas inside the Charnamrita. I think I know about them, but I want to double check. So I took them all today. So if anybody sees it in the Charnamrita, take them out.
Well, that would be me because I make the Charnamrita. So
Okay.
I just.
It looks like rose petals. This one. It looks like.
I know the difference between the two. I'm glad you informed me because I just pour the water from the bathing and I don't pay attention to what kind of
Well,
petal
we
it
shouldn't
is.
bathe with these. We shouldn't bathe with these, would it?
Yeah.
No, they're beautiful flowers.
They're pretty. It can be
Beautiful. And they're only
It's best if you can
They
use
have just a
pregnant
short
flowers.
lifespan of, like for 3 weeks, all of a sudden, they're just explosion of colors.
And the purple one too. The purple one is highly poisonous. You know
Really?
the long purple one. What do you call those?
Like
Mother, Jayapati, help me. The long purple one which will come out. They look like grapes, but they're purple.
Oh,
Mysterious.
yeah.
Wisteria?
Is that the name?
The plant itself is poisonous, but the flower's orange.
Oh, the flowers now.
Any other part, you get a leaf, very poisonous.
Poisonous,
Like the stem is poisonous, so the flowers aren't, but the flowers are on the stem.
Okay.
The stem is very
Be
poisonous.
careful with those things.
From poison comes a beautiful purple flower.
You can
It's
make
like
jam
poison,
out of the
not
purple
like-
flowers.
It's a
But if you
wisteria.
get stems in there,
We just can't lose any more people. We're such a small group.
Mysteria.
I don't want anybody
Mysterious,
taking
mysterious.
flowers and not feeling well, you know. So, thank you.
So, all right, so this is text 16 of the 19th chapter, the appearance of Sukadeva Goswami. And so, okay, I'll say, and then you all repeat. It's like to come up a little closer, just really see. Punas. Yeah, that's good, thank you. Cha. Bhuyat. Bhagavati. Annate. Punascha Bhuyat Bhagavati Annate.
Punascha Bhuyat Bhagavati Anante.
Rati. Rasangas. Cha. Tad. Ashrayeshu. Rati Prasangas cha tad Ashrayeshu.
Rati Prasangas tad Ashrayeshu. Mahatsu.
Yam. Upayami. Shristim. Mahatsu yam upayami shristim.
Mahatsu yam upayami shristim.
Maitri. Astu. Sarvatra. Namo. Dvijebhya. Maitri astu sarvatra namo dvijebhya.
Maitri astu sarvatra namo dvijebhya.
Okay. Dvijebhya. Punascha bhuyad bhagavatyas anyate.
Punascha bhagavati anante.
Rati prasangascha tadasayeshu.
Rati prasangascha tadasayeshu.
Mahatsu yam upayami rishishtim.
Mahatsu yam upayami rishishtim.
Maitri astu sarvatra namo dvijebhya.
Maitri astu sarvatra namo dvijebhya.
Punascha bhuyat bhagavati anante.
Punascha bhuyat bhagavati anante.
Rati prasangascha tad ashrayeshu. Mahatsu yam upayami shristim.
Mahatsu yam upayami shristim.
Maitri astu sarvatra namo dvijebhya.
Maitri astu sarvatra namo dvijebhya.
Is that enough? Was that enough?
I think that was 3.
Okay, that's enough. So, it's up to you now.
Me? Punascha bhuyat bhagavati anante. Rati prasangascha tad asrayeshu. Mahatsu yam upayami srishtim. Maitri astu sarvatra nama dvijebhya.
Yeah, that's good.
Punascha bhuyat bhagavati anante.
Punascha bhuyat bhagavati anante.
Prasangascha tadashrayeshu.
Rati prasangascha tadashrayeshu.
Mahatsu yam upayam sistam.
Mahatsu yam upayami sistam.
Matri astu sarvatra nama dvijebhya.
Mati astu sarvatra namo dvijebhya.
Okay. Priya.
Punascha bhuyat bhagavati anante.
Punascha bhuyat bhagavati anante.
Rati prasangascha tadashrayeshu.
Rati prasangascha tadashrayeshu.
Mahatsu yam upayami srishtim.
Mahatsu yam upayami srishtim.
Maitriyastu sarvatra namo dvijebhya.
Matri astu
Sarvatra namo dvijebhya. Anyone?
Punascha Bhuyat Bhagavati Anante.
Rati Sangastatarashesu
Mahasu Yam Yam Upayami Srishtim. Maitriyastu Sarvanamotijaya.
Punascha Bhuyat Bhagavati Anante. Rati Prasangascha Sarveshu Mahasu Yam Yam Upayami Srishtam.
Maitriyastu Sarvatra Namodijebhya.
So I'm just curious that, thank you very much. If you just, any Sanskrit syllables, like yum yum, say for instance, so is that because it's in the Bhagavatam? Does it have spiritual potency? Because the only reason I say that is because, unfortunately, I have an overload of past memories of, living in New York and going to plays and things like that. And there was a famous Broadway play movie called Under the Yum Yum Tree. Yeah.
This is actually yum yum. It's supposed to be both have.
Yeah, but kind of, it's like interesting. I mean, that's what my mind, unfortunately, that's, everybody else, they see Krishna and things, and I see,
Broadway show.
Broadway shows and whatever. Okay, so we'll do the word for word. Unfortunate mind of mine. So
we have yams in the kitchen.
Yum.
Yams.
Yum.
Yam.
Here's yam. So you can see it's called yam. So I don't know what you call lamb Bengal, but we call it yam. So and this is the last of the 4 verses. Then I think it's like a prayer to everyone. Yeah, he starts like 3 verses ago. And this is the last verse, and he's praying to everyone who's come from all over the planet, possibly even from the universe. All these really great personalities, they come to see this emperor and see how he prepares for the final exit. I mean, this is what culture is, preparing. A civilization is supposed to be preparing us for that moment when we finally, leave the mortal frame behind and hopefully move on to the eternal realm, or at least get a good solid birth in the next life. But this society is so ignorant. There's no such considerations like that. And I remember seeing a documentary where they're talking about the Egyptian culture was all about preparing for the afterlife. That's why they built these big tombs and everything. So you can tell that from a lot of that there was the remnants of their rituals, and it was sort of the remnants of the karma kanda, Vedic rituals and so on, but preparing for a better life in the next. They had a book of the dead, how to prepare for death. That was another one, but there was also one in Egypt. Anyway, it's the same thing. So what did I do? I'm going to read the translation now. Okay.
The word meanings?
Oh, the word meanings, that's right. Puna, again. Cha, end. Uyat, let it be.
Let it be.
So he's already resigned himself that he's the emperor of the world, and he has all this wealth and influence and all sorts of opportunities for, power and material, and could have Brahmins perform things to protect him. He's already resigned himself. Let it be. Let this curse come. Let it be. Let it happen. Let it, he's not like, oh, woe is me. Why is it happening to me? He's actually saying, let it be. So, Bhagavati, unto Lord Sri Krishna, Anate, who has unlimited potency, His unlimited potency. Rati, attracting, Prasanga, association, Sha, also, Tat, his, Ashrayeshu, those who are his devotees.
With those who are his devotees.
So he's wanting association with those who are his devotees. Mahatsu, within the material creation. Yam, wherever. Upayami, I may take. Shristim, my birth. Maitri, friendly relations. Astu, let it be. So, Astu is let it be, and Bhuya is let it be. Sarvatra, everywhere. Namaha, my obeisances. Vijaya, unto the Brahmanas. Okay, I'll say then, you say. Again, offering obeisances. Unto all you Brahmanas. I pray. That if I should again take my birth. In the material world. I will have complete attachment. To the unlimited Lord Krishna. Association with his devotees. And friendly relations. With all living beings. This is what he's praying for at the time of death. Again, offering obeisances unto all you Brahmanas, I pray that if I should again take my birth in the material world, I will have complete attachment to the unlimited Lord Krishna, association with his devotees, and friendly relations with all living beings. I mean, also there's a sense here, he's offering his obeisances, and he's like, the fact is that he knows, like, you Brahmanas, you sages, you're the highest, most important, elevated souls, at least on the earth planet and probably in the universe. And you're coming to associate with a king. Generally, they don't want to associate, because king means association with wealth and power. And with that association with wealth and power like that, one's mind can be polluted or deviated, or you could be relaxed in your focus. So he's humbled by the fact that they're coming to associate with him, and he's taking this all in stride. It's not like, why Krishna? Why are you letting this happen to me? Or maybe what kind of Krishna? God, he has his attachment to Krishna is fixed. Not like a common devotee like myself. I might, some reversal comes and I'm immediately like, come on, no, what is this? Maybe I made a mistake, I don't know. Why is all this happening to me? Wouldn't have happened. You get shaken, you get rattled. But no, he's showing us, no, these reversals are expected, and actually it's not a reversal, it's a celebration. If you do this correctly, you will perfect your life. This isn't just like passing an exam that you study for so that you can get a PhD in engineering. or a PhD in, some ridiculous science that studies worms or something. Not just, but, yes, I have a PhD and I study the worms that are in the feces. It's very important. And probably, whatever. But so my point is that this is it. This is the moment. And so he's very, very humble about it, and he's very, very respectful to them. And his prayer is that if I do have to take birth again in the material world, let me have complete attachment to the unlimited Lord Krishna. In other words, let me not forget Krishna. Let me have association with Krishna's devotees, unalloyed devotees, and let me have friendly relations with all living beings, all the sons of all the parts and parcels of Krishna. Purport by His Divine Grace. So now this is, like if Prabhupada were to come in the room right now, we would all be very happy, and we would be ecstatic, and we'd have a big kirtan like we just did. And then Prabhupada would sit down, and then he would speak words from the spiritual world. And now we shall hear words from the spiritual world. That a devotee of the Lord is the only perfect living being is explained herein by Maharaj Pariksit. A devotee of the Lord is no one's enemy. Although there may be many enemies of a devotee, like Prahlad Maharaj, his father is his enemy. A devotee of the Lord does not like to associate with non-devotees, although he has no enmity with them. He desires association with the devotees of the Lord. So he's asking for association with the devotees, but he doesn't want any bad feelings or enmity towards the non-devotees. As a matter of fact, he wants to do whatever he can to attract them. Like yesterday I had this small experience where I'm wearing the Jagannath hat, the little logo, and it was at the Shell station in town, and this woman, she goes, "I really like your hat. It's really neat, it's cute." I said, "I know, it's really nice, isn't it? Someday I'll tell you about it." Okay? She goes, "Really? It's really nice." So she was glorifying Lord Jagannath. Prabhu said that's the perfection of preaching. He said, preaching doesn't just mean speaking. If someone walks by and just happens to see those beautiful vases or flower garlands, and they say, "Wow, those are really beautiful flower arrangements. Oh, they're so beautiful." They're glorifying Krishna. You've invoked they've performed one of the 9 processes of devotional service, that glorifying the form of the Lord.
It's like my kids, when I send them pictures of the deities, they'll say how beautiful they are.
Yeah, like actually the first time when Kali was in the ballet, there was this he was first, he was a Prabhupada disciple, but, he was, doing other things. And he was like what they call ballet tourmé, like a follower of the ballet. But he had made this poster, one of the first posters. It was a big photograph, blow up, of Radha Gopinath from Toronto Temple. And I used to have one in my office in Atlanta, right behind my desk, right there. And they'd all be sitting around in their break room, and he had put one up, and drinking coffee and doing whatever else, and he's saying, this is a picture. They're here in Toronto. She goes, Colleen goes, "No, they're not. There's no dolls that beautiful. Who would do that here in Toronto? Who would?" Because she really likes dolls. It's like an Air India poster or something, isn't it? She couldn't believe that those dolls, as she put it, with so much care and devotion, were actually in Toronto, and she didn't know about it. So that was her first connection from this very eccentric person, a devotee. If you see in London Rath Yatra in 1974 on the Yadavar series, you see that when Prabhupada has been very sick, and now He's not riding on the cart, he's in the front of the cart, and he's walking and dancing the whole route. There's one very tall devotee with black hair, and he's like this the whole time, like trying to guard Prabhupada. That's him. His name is Haridas. The whole time he's very, so thank you Haridas, wherever you are. That devotee, that a devotee of the Lord is the only perfect living being is explained here by Maharaj Pariksit. The devotee of the Lord is no one's enemy. Although there may be many enemies of a devotee of the Lord does not like to associate with non-devotees, although he has no enmity with them. He desires association with the devotees of the Lord. This is perfectly natural because birds of the same feather mix together. And the most important function of a devotee is to have complete attachment for Lord Shri Krishna, the Father of all living beings. As a good son of the Father behaves in a friendly way with all his other brothers, so also the devotee of the Lord, being a good son of the Supreme Father, Lord Krishna, sees all other living beings in relation with the Supreme Father. He tries to bring back the upstart sons of the Father to a saner stage and to get them to accept the Supreme Fatherhood of God. Maharaj Pariksit was certainly going back to Godhead, but even if he were not to go back, he prayed for a pattern of life, which is the most perfect way in the material world. A pure devotee does not desire the company of a personality as great as Brahma, but he prefers the association of a petty living being, provided he is a devotee of the Lord. It's not saying that Brahma's not a devotee. It's just meaning that a devotee is not interested in, associating with someone with a very important, prestigious post. We'd rather associate with someone who may not seem very important in the society's standards, but he's a devotee or she's a devotee. That's what's important. Not the position, not the wealth, not how attractive or powerful they are. It's about their heart, about their consciousness. So this is the way Maharaj Pariksit is preparing and for this moment. And it's very interesting because what he asked for, those three things that he asked for, is very similar to something else that another devotee asked for. So I have to tell a sort of segue to it by talking about how Akura, Akura was, he was living in Mathura, and he knew Kamsa, and he was not, he had to be careful of Kamsa, and Kamsa even revealed to Akura that he was planning on killing Krishna. He's been trying to kill Krishna. And Akura, living under this oppressive personality, was, he was always regretful and lamenting, as most of the people in Mathura were, because they'd hear about these wonderful activities that were going on in Vrindavan. That this boy, these two boys, Krishna and Balaram, first of all, they were extremely beautiful, and they were killing all these powerful demons, Aghasura, Putana, lifting Govardhan Hill, and all these wonderful activities with the gopis, and so on and so forth. So they all wanted to go and see him. They'd heard about him, how he dances on the head of Kali, a serpent, how he put out a fire with just blinking his eyes, These pastimes are being passed around. The bull, how he just handles that, and I think it was the horse, Aristasura was the horse. He just put his fist right in his mouth. He was attacking. So many things, and they're just boys. They're like 7 years old, and they're able to deal with these huge, powerful. That comes to every day, a demon a day. Keeps, just 3 demons a day?
They say sometimes.
3. So he was constantly trying to deal, and Kamsa was hearing, and he was very fearful, but it was undaunted, he thought he could kill him. So he sends Akura, and Akura is the whole time on his way there, he's thinking about, this is the way to approach a pilgrimage, the way Akura, he's thinking about, he's going to go now and see Krishna. Even though he knows he's on a mission to by Kamsa who wants to try to kill him. He doesn't. He just can't wait to see Krishna. He can't wait to see this person he's been hearing about and his beauty and his strength and so he's this whole way there. He's thinking about I'm going to get to see Krishna. Never mind what comes as planning. And so when he gets close, he starts to see Krishna's footprints in the dust. And he gets all ecstatic about that. And then so they meet and they discuss, and the gopis are so angry. They cursed him. And everybody's trying to stop them. There's a beautiful painting. You see them standing in front of the cart and the horses. And so, anyway, and even they start to chase after him. Like Mother Jasoda was on one vehicle and it was chasing after him. And Krishna said, he sent a message back to tell his mother that I'm going to get hungry on this journey, so could you please prepare a lunch for me? So she immediately had some service to do, so she goes back home and starts cooking for Krishna, so he won't be hungry. And this way, her mind is absorbed in doing her service to Krishna. And so, on the way, at about noon, they stop at a river, and I think it's called the Kura Ghat now. And there was a very interesting episode there, where while in the water, Akura sees Anantasesha and Gaurakshai Vishnu. I mean, Anantasesha, this huge serpent, transcendental holy serpent. I've had some difficulty in wrapping my mind around the fact that Balaram is a beautiful serpent with multi-headed, many hoods, unlimited hoods, and each one is glorifying Krishna forever, never repeating the same thing. And Gaurakshai Vishnu is lying upon it. And he sees that form and all of their opulences, unlimited beauty, it says. I mean, we see very beautiful things, but imagine unlimited beauty. He was so amazed, he lost track of time. And Krishna and Balaram are waiting for him on the chariot. And when he finally comes back, some time has passed, and Krishna sees this look in Akura's face, and he says, Uncle Akura, son, did you see something wonderful in the river? You look very, he said, well, now seeing you and Balaram, I see the source of all that's wonderful. Seeing you is the beginning, the source of everything. This is the most wonderful sight, to see you and Balaram together. Even though he'd just seen, Krishna knew full well what he had seen in the river. So then they enter into Mathura, and everyone just, it's a big festival. And meanwhile, the cowherd men are waiting for them at the gate, but Akura took all these back roads because he didn't want the people that were following from Vrindavan. They were devastated. They never thought that Krishna would leave Vrindavan. They were so devastated. They were like to leave their body. And so he took back roads so that they wouldn't try to stop or convince him to turn around. And then they get to Mathura, and now the city is decorated so beautifully. First of all, Akura brings them to his home, and offers them a sitting place, and I think he washes their feet.
And she does that later on, because she wouldn't go to his home yet.
I think I just read something else.
He waited outside in the camp. He walked in on his own.
Yeah, I'll just read you what I just read.
It was later on when she went.
Okay, well, I'll just read something from the Bhagavatam, okay? Take the chariot and enter the city ahead of us, then go home. Yeah, you're right. After resting here a while, we will go to the city. Sri Akura said, "O Master, without the two of you, I shall not enter Mathura. I am your devotee. O Lord, so it is not fair for you to abandon me, since you are always affectionate to your devotees. Come, let us go to my house with your elder brother, the cowherd men, and your companions. O best friends, O transcendental Lord, in this way please grace my house with its master. I am simply an ordinary householder attached to ritual sacrifices, so please purify my home with the dust of your lotus feet. By that act of purification, my forefathers, my sacrificial fires, and the demigods will all become satisfied. By bathing your feet, the exalted Bali Maharaj attained not only glorious fame and unequal power, but also the final destination of pure devotees. The water of the river Ganga has purified the three worlds, having become transcendental by bathing your feet. Lord Shiva accepted that water on his head, and by that water's grace, the sons of King Sagar attained the heavens. O Lord of Lords, Master of the universe, O you whose glories it is most pious to hear and chant, O best of the Yadus, O you whose fame is recounted in excellent poetry. He calls them Jadu Dhamma, and he calls them Uttama Shloka, Devi, Jagam Nata. O Supreme Lord, O Narayan, I offer my obeisances unto you. And Sri Bhagavan says, Supreme Lord said, I will come, so then you're right. He says, I will come to your house with my elder brother, but first I must satisfy my friends and well-wishers by killing the enemy of the Yadu clan. So now Sukadeva says that after Akura addressed with a heavy heart, he informed the King Kamsa the success of his mission and then went home. Then it describes the beauty. Says when they went into Mathura, they saw the gates and the household entrances made of crystal, its immense archways and main doors of gold, its granaries and other storehouses of copper and brass, its impregnable moats, beautifying the city with pleasant gardens and parks. The main intersections were fashioned by gold. There were mansions with private pleasure gardens. Along all guild halls and many other buildings, Mathura resounded with the calls of peacocks and pet turtle doves, who sat in the small openings of the lattice windows on the gem-studded floors in front of the houses. It goes on describing the balconies and the rafters were adorned with Vaidurya stones, this multicolored stone, and diamonds and emeralds, sapphires, coral, pearls and emeralds. All the royal avenues and commercial streets were sprinkled with water. So it goes on describing like that. And then all the women of the city, well, first of all, the Brahmins, they all start to immediately perform, sort of the proper rituals for greeting a great personality. They start glorifying with various prayers and offering different types of pujas. And the ladies, they all immediately drop everything. Even maybe in some cases they're feeding their babies and they put the baby down to run to go see the Lord from the roofs of their houses. And then he comes upon, the first person that he comes upon is this washerman, and he's washing King Kamsa's clothing. And now, Krishna is very careful how he talks to him. He's very sweet the way he talks to him. And but this person is a servant, an associate of Kamsa, and he's doing service for Kamsa, who has his parents locked up in a cell, a prison cell, where he has murdered 6 previous children. born again. So, seeing the washerman approaching, who had been dyeing some clothes, Krishna asked him for the finest laundered garments he had. Lord Krishna said, "Please give suitable garments to the two of us, who certainly deserve them. If you grant this charity, you will undoubtedly receive the greatest benefit." Thus requested by the Supreme Lord, he who is perfectly complete in all respects, that arrogant servant of the king became angry and replied insultingly. The washerman said, "You impudent boys, you've accused, you're accustomed to roaming the mountains and forests, and yet you would dare to put on such clothes as these? These are the king's possessions. You're asking for the king's possessions." Meanwhile, this king stole this kingdom from Ugrasen, from his own father. He's a thief, and he's chastising that Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the proprietor of everything. He's accusing him of being impudent, and then he makes a big mistake. He uses the word balusha, which means fools.
Fool.
Balisha. I mean, it means like Bala, not just that Krishna's a fool, Balaram is also a fool.
How do you spell that?
B-A-L-I-S-H. Balisha. It's in the word for word. Fools, get out of here quickly. Don't beg like this. If you want to stay alive, when someone is too bold, the king's men arrest him and kill him and take all his property. As the washerman thus spoke brazenly, the son of Devaki became angry, and then merely with his fingertips, he separated the man's head from his body. Now, sometimes, I've heard just recently that, this sounds pretty severe, but this man is an associate of Kamsa, who's cut his parents locked up, who's done all these awful things, and has sent one demon after another to try to kill him. And he's going to try to kill him now. Now, also, in a previous life, apparently, in the Ram Leela, this man was the person who Ramchandra overheard talking to his wife about that, Sita had been with this other person. And that was the cause for her, Ramchandra then feeling that since the citizens felt that way, that maybe she should go and be exiled. So now he's getting his comeuppance. In his own time, Krishna deals with it.
So say that again. This is the guy that brought this.
He
brought this to the forefront, and he got his head popped off just now.
And
Ram Leela, he's the same personality. Got it.
Caused them to be separated.
Right.
Yeah.
So now he and so the washerman's assistants all drop their bundles and of clothes, and they run down the road, scattering in all directions. Lord Krishna then took all the cloths, and he comes upon a weaver, and the weaver is completely devoted to Krishna, and he's been thinking of Krishna all these years, living in the forest, and wanted to go there, but was too fearful to go. And so thereupon a weaver came forward, and feeling affection for the lords, nicely adorned their attire with cloth ornaments of various colors. Srila Jiva Goswami explains that the weaver adored the lords with cloth armlets and earrings that looked just like jewels. The word Anurupata indicates that the colors match nicely. Because Krishna is the greatest, he's the greatest dresser. He wants, he's what's the word, a sharp-dressed man or something. Yeah. He wants to go, he's going to kill Kamsa, he wants to look good. He's the all-attractive personality of God. He wants to make sure he looks his finest. So the weaver does all this, makes nice clothes for him, and then, so he's very pleased to do it, and he grants the weaver, he blessed him that after death he would achieve the liberation of attaining a form like the Lord's, and that while in this world he would enjoy supreme opulence, physical strength, influence, memory, and sensory vigor. In other words, he had a palace awaiting for him in Vaikuntha. And at the rest of this life, he would be well situated.
Wow.
No anxiety. The two lords then went to the house of a garland maker, Sudama. Now this is why I took this route. Akura took some back roads, so I'm taking it's all coming back to Purukit now. You'll see why. Sudama, and this is not the same Sudama Brahma, just an interesting coincidence. The two lords then went to the house of the garland maker, Sudama. When Sudama saw them, he at once stood up and then bowed down, placing his head on the ground. After offering them seats and bathing their feet, Sudama worshipped them and their companions with arghya, garlands, pan, sandalwood paste, and other presentations. Sudama said, "O Lord, my birth is now sanctified and my family free of contamination. Now that you both have come here, my forefathers, the demigods, the great sages, are certainly all satisfied with me." And so he goes on like that, glorifying him. And apparently, he had gone once into the forest in Vrindavan to get various flowers, certain, special flowers, like you see Prishni roaming all over the property and down Anna Road. She's like different seasons. She knows exactly where to go. Where's the flowers? Where they're blooming over down by Shastra's house this month, and now they're down here and over there.
All glory to the servant.
Yes. So he happened upon seeing Krishna and his friends, the cowherd boys, playing. So he would regularly go to watch them because he couldn't believe how beautiful he was. He wanted to go and associate with them, but he was doing it secretly. He didn't feel qualified to be near them. But he was one of the few immature that would sneak out and go and see Krishna.
Where'd you read this? I never saw it.
It's a secret.
He was there.
Anyway, so then and apparently at one point he actually, in India sometimes they'll just sort of do a glance to the side, and it's like a subtle way of when they see something they like. So Krishna happened to see this one garland that he especially liked, and he understood that that's the one that Krishna wanted. He immediately offers it to him. And then he goes about making the finest flower garlands. Because what's a nice suit of clothing without a beautiful garland? And he wanted all of his friends to be garlanded to enter into the battle. So, or into the wrestling. First is the elephant, then there's the two wrestlers, and then he deals with Kamsa. All in the afternoons, just an afternoon's, go out and do, plant a few rows of cauliflower. So then, please order me, your servant, to do whatever you wish. To be engaged in your service, in some service, is certainly a great blessing for anyone. Sukadeva Goswami continued, O best of the kings, having spoken these words, Sudama could understand that Krishna and Balaram wanted. Thus, with great pleasure, he presented them with garlands of fresh, fragrant flowers. Beautifully adorned with these garlands, Krishna and Balaram were delighted, and so were their companions. The two lords then offered the surrendered Sudama, who was bowing down before them, whatever benediction he desired. Sudama chose unshakably to vote. So here's the point. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of God, the source of existence, of all power, all wealth, all beauty, all renunciation, all knowledge, all the mystic powers. He's saying, anything you want, you ask him. He can ask him for anything. Unlimited wealth, unlimited power, mystic powers, unlimited knowledge, strength. And this is what he asked him for. And remember today's verse. Do you remember today's verse? What did Maharaj Parikshit ask for?
Always want to serve him,
What?
Always that even if he took another birth, that he would be with the devotees.
And that's number
He has to
2.
serve.
What was number 1?
Devotion to Krishna.
Devotion to
Remember,
serve.
devotion, it's always remember that Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is associated with devotees who are glorifying him. And he's asking the sages there to continue singing the beautiful, wonderful deeds of Krishna. And that he sees all living entities.
Romantic relations with all.
Family relations. Okay, so listen what Sudama asks for. Sudama chose unshakable. That's achalam, unshakable. Not under any condition is he shaken, like I was talking about before, any doubts. Like, well, I don't know. I mean, I shouldn't have moving. Look at all these things that have happened to me. I don't know. I mean, maybe, what would have happened if I didn't? Why? I mean, sometimes when I was in business, I'd see the meat eaters and the drunkards down the road doing better business than me. I'm thinking, what's the deal with this? I'm trying to use this money to help the temple. You start to get, you can't understand why. And actually, I can read a quote from Kunti, and if I can find it right away, and they'll explain that. But Sudama chose unshakable, achalam, devotion for Krishna, the supreme soul of all existence, friendship with his devotees, and transcendental compassion for all living beings. Not only did Lord Krishna grant Sudama these benedictions, but he also awarded him strength, long life, fame, beauty. I mean, we're still talking about him now. And ever increasing prosperity for his family. Then Krishna and his elder brother took their leave. Purport. We can see a clear difference between Lord Krishna's dealings with the nasty washerman and his dealings with the devoted florist Sudama. The Lord is as hard as a thunderbolt for those who defy him, and as soft as a rose for those who surrender to him. Therefore, we should all sincerely surrender to Lord Krishna, since that is clearly our interest. And so, in these prayers, she says, I wish that all these calamities would happen again and again, so that we could see, and these calamities are, being poisoned, being in a house that's been set on fire, being sent into exile, having problems with cannibals, all these different problems. Draupadi being, insulted in the big assembly hall. She's saying, I want these to happen again and again, so that we could see you again and again. For seeing you means that we will no longer see repeated births and deaths. And there's a verse either right before this one or right after, if I remember. Yes. My Lord, your Lordship can easily be approached, but only by those who are materially exhausted. One who is on the path of material progress, trying to improve himself with respectable parentage, great opulence, high education, and bodily beauty, cannot approach you with sincere feeling. So sometimes Krishna helps us so that we can really pray sincerely. Our prayers in sincerity, we're most sincere when we're really up against the, It's nice that you can do it in all times, but, for me, that's Queen Kunti's giving us guidance. So, and then I'll read again today's verse to verify this point that it's just a coincidence that I happen to be, hearing this thing, this 10th canto, and I realized, wait a second, that's the 16th, that's the same thing. Again, offering obeisances unto all you Brahmanas, I pray that if I should again take my birth in the material world, this is Mars Pricket now, I will have complete attachment to the unlimited Lord Krishna, association with his devotees, and friendly relations with all living beings.
Same exactly.
Same thing. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, I humbly submit that possibly this is a good prayer to learn. That maybe, because I don't really know how to pray, but this might be one that we can. I think
Visualize.
No. Yes. Oh, someone's raising their hand, no, or just making a garland. Oh. Okay. We part of the devotional process is hearing, chanting, remembering, padasevanam, and prayer, like that. And Prabhupada suggested that we learn the prayers of those people who have succeeded in pleasing the Lord with their prayers, and who achieve perfection through prayer. Correct. Ding, 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 ding. Tell us what she won.
Did you say?
I said, tell us what she won. She won. Freedom from birth and death. Says, yeah, making flower garments. So, anyway. Anything someone like to add? Or like,
I just think it's really cool this morning. I was looking at the deities and I was like, help me, I need to be able to help me with prayer.
Really?
And that's what we get today.
Just in
I don't know
time.
what to say, help me, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, I know. It's like, oh, should I? No, I can't pray for that. I mean, really. So, I mean, and the thing is, this is all, I mean, well, of course, Sudama's not in any threat right now, and it's actually, he's just been given benediction for, this is Sudama, the one who did he was the garland maker, not the Sandama Brahman, but he's been blessed with a long life, but of course we all have eternal lives, and it's like, the whole point is that, there's a line in a mundane song that says, let's do some living after we die. And it's like it's actually so dead on. Let's do some real living after we die, because there is no death. You just eventually exit a world where you temporarily accept different material garments according to your past karma and your desires. And then when you get to the human form, if you don't use it, the one chance, it's even better than being a demigod, because you're not experiencing tremendous opulence. It's not too bad and not too good. It's, moderate. And so, and that's always been described all throughout the Bhagavad Gita, things should be done moderately. Don't eat too much or eat too little. Don't sleep too much or sleep too little. So, but there's no limit on how much we can chant. So in this one form of life, we have this chance to understand, or try to understand, our predicament. The dogs and cats can't understand the predicaments. The trees can't understand the predicaments. But there are brothers and sisters. That's why Prabhupada, when he was told in Australia what St. Francis's philosophy was, that he saw brother sun, sister moon, brother tree, brother sister bird, he said, oh, Prabhupada's eyes got real big like this. Oh, that's real God consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to pray and chant. You hear different things that Prabhupada, devotees chanting really loudly, and, well, they can't hear you, but it doesn't hurt. In New York, there's an expression, they say, it couldn't hurt. They say it like, you have to say it like that, right?
Right.
No, John, he's a New Yorker.
Oh, that's right.
It couldn't hurt.
Oh, it sounds Jewish.
That's New York. Yeah. It sounds Jewish, but that's New York. I mean, yeah.
Down with the Jews with the.
Yeah. It couldn't hurt, you know.
Yiddish.
It's how they can make a living.
Hasidic Jews down in
And because you have a New York accent, sometimes everybody thinks immediately, "Oh, you must be Jewish." No, I'm a New Yorker. Yeah. So, anyway, that was my take on this. And this is what it's all about. And Parikat is so humbled by the fact they're coming to associate with him at this moment, because he's a worldly person, and they're willing to give him their blessings and help him on this, because he's going to fast completely. I heard someone say, because someone they knew right before they died, they decided to stop eating. I mean, that's what Prabhupada did. He fasted. He didn't have any appetite, so you can't hold anything down anyway, generally speaking. But you're preparing for death, and Maharaj Bricket just wanted to sit down to fast. He wasn't as old as Srila Prabhupada. He was young and full of vigor, but he was cursed and a snake bird. And these snake birds, to me, they sound like, in the English, stories of, Lancelot and those. It's like they talk about dragons, and the Chinese also talk about dragons. It sounds like it's a reptile that flies and has fire coming from his mouth. It's like a dragon. Where else did they get this concept? This concept for a dragon. It's a snake bird. That's the Bhagavatam, yeah.
And this one snuck up on him as a Brahmin.
Yeah, the reptilians can change forms.
Shape-shifting, huh?
Shape-shifting, yeah.
Easy.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I would, that's okay with me, I'd rather see that than a snake coming up to me.
You'd rather see a snake bird than a snake?
No, I'd rather see a Brahmin.
Oh.
We get choices.
Okay, so thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you very much.
Bhagavatam ki jai. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Yeah, imagine my surprise after